Instagram. All right, it looks like I got my YouTube working this time. So go subscribe, like, and it's never too late to be great. Never too late to be great. All right, so what we gonna do today? Today is Mind Day. Mind over money. Mind over everything. Mind over everything. On this midday motivation at 12:15 p.m. Eastern, you will hear motivation, inspiration, new information, confirmation, and or education. So I have a journal that I like to write in because it gives me prompts. You know, with the creative mind that I have, it is just like I have thought after thought, idea after idea, creative things are always happening up here. Okay, so my journal, sometimes I just journal because journaling is a good way to let things out, kind of settle your mind, and get through some things. So, journaling is a good self care, self love um, way to go about, getting some things off your chest without calling up somebody and venting or gossiping. Just letting some things out. And then I got my set the boundaries workbook. So I like books that are interactive. So I'm gonna give you two prompts today to think about and reflect on. Subscribe, like, and share my YouTube channel because I eventually want to gravitate over into that space. Not to say that I might not, jump on Instagram Live and Facebook Live for my midday motivations, but it is nice to have YouTube has different benefits. Okay. All right now. All right. So let's see. List at least 6 negative ways that you see yourself. So the reason you want to list the 6 negative ways you see yourself is to get honest with yourself and really look at some things that you're not so happy about yourself, and then in hopes to put in place and put in perspective how you can change how you view yourself in that way. What things can you implement to change how you see yourself in a negative way? You don't want to see yourself in a negative light, but do we like every single thing about ourselves? Probably not. Probably not. Can you find 6 negative things about yourself? It's beautiful if you cannot. So it lists at least 1 to 3 things negatively that you see about yourself if you can't find 6, because a lot of us have been doing some work on ourselves. A lot of us have been doing the work. So you may have tacked down on the ways that you look at yourself and how you feel about yourself and how you see yourself. So list at least 1 to 6 negative ways that you see yourself. And then now this one here, the next one I want to prompt you to think about is, how have I been let down in life? How have I been let down in life? So I'm going to give it a 2-part. And how have I let down others? How have I been let down in life? And how have I let down others? Because we tend to so many times point out what somebody else has done, what somebody else said, and not taking a look at the part we play. The part we play. So let's reflect on those things today. So I just want to give you those to reflect on today. And maybe you'll journal about it later on tonight. I don't know. I hope so. But I had, something that I thought about the other day, and I said I was going to share it on here today. And what I thought about was how we hear motivational speakers talk about stepping into your greatness and becoming your higher self, and that looks different for all of us. So I wanted to put it in perspective as get into your superwoman gear, your Superman gear, your Spider-Man gear, your superhero costume. Who is that? What is that Superman or Superwoman costume? So stepping into your greatness looks like what? What does stepping into your greatness look like? Because I talked to I didn't talk to the couple specifically, but there was a couple that said they retired and they just want to be retired, stay at home, and watch TV. And I'm like, but maybe that's their journey. But my initial response or reaction was like, man, that sounds so boring. That sounds like, it sounds selfish. So those are the ways I'm looking at it. That's my perspective. That sounds like, man, what happened in life that you don't want more out of it? or maybe they felt like they lived their life and got all they gonna get out of it. And so I just want us not to go into that space. I want us to live and be the example for so many other people that need to see things happening close, because we see stuff on TV all the time, right? But I would like to see it more so in our communities, like close knit in our communities. I want to see people in our communities flourishing. Okay, seeing it on TV, that's cool, that's great, wow, yay. The celebrities are doing their thing. So and so was able to donate all this money. I watched one of Prince's documentaries last night, and he donated so much money to different places when he did, from certain song sales and things of that nature. But I want to see it, it becomes more relatable for a lot of us if we see it firsthand in our own community. Okay, so in our own community, you have to be that person. If you're not seeing it firsthand, you have to step out and lead by example. And I talk about it all the time, but I struggle with a few things. I struggle with a few things as far as being that example, because I'm not perfect. So we're going to struggle along the way. There's going to be some struggles along the way, right? But if you set forth, put your best foot forward, and then get better with time, over time after that, it's up from here. It's up from here. But you have to put forth the effort. You have to want more. You have to want to do better. You have to want to show up as your best self. Let's not get bogged down with the things that have happened in our past. I know I struggle with some things some choices that I made in my past. I struggle with that. And I know a lot of y'all can relate with struggling with things in our past, allowing our past to hold us down. We don't need that weight to hold us down. We need that to propel us forward so that we're not repeating the same mistakes more than once, so that we're not repeating the same cycle of thoughts that are keeping us bound, that are keeping us held back. So putting our best foot forward, being the example in our own community. What does that look like? Where can you start? Okay. A lot of ways that people are showing up is going live and just really just sharing some good positive things that are happening. I know there are a lot of people that are going live with some things that are not so good happening in our communities. I scroll past, like Sam Silk, he posted some things that are happening to keep us up to date on, some negative things that are happening, because we do need to be abreast of some of the things that are happening in the world that aren't so good and positive. I like to come on here and be motivational, inspirational, and really speak positive things and getting people in a good, positive mood, getting them some good vibes and positive vibes and uplifting people and just making them feel good for the day, right? But there are things that are happening that I may share to shed some light on in the midst of some of my midday motivations. So I thank y'all and appreciate y'all for joining me. If you are on my IG or Facebook, please go and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Miss Moon Motivates. Miss Moon Motivates, MSMOONE, Motivates, MOTIV as in victory, ATES as in successful. Yes, yes, yes. So the next thing I want to cover is I talk about boundaries, because I know for a long while growing up, I didn't know, the proper steps or the proper protocol on setting boundaries, right? I didn't know. I just didn't know. Okay. So I did end up setting some boundaries intentionally, but not knowing that they were not the best boundaries to set, not healthy boundaries. So I have some healthy boundaries, I have some porous boundaries, and I have some rigid boundaries. So my rigid boundaries put up a wall. So it's either you're putting up a barrier or you're. So I ended up putting up a few barriers, people out to protect myself. I'm a Cancer, so I have a shell, and sometimes I draw back into my shell. Okay. But I'm learning, I'm growing, and I'm learning as I grow. Learn, like they say, learn as you go. I'm learning as I grow. So let's learn as we grow. All right. So knowing your boundaries. So I'm going to share something real quick. Knowing your boundaries. It's hard to know when a boundary is being violated when you don't know you're entitled to set and maintain boundaries at all. In 2020, Black Panther actor Chadwick Boseman died. Man, that seemed like it was just around the corner. To fans and many people, it was shocking. Some began to question why Chadwick kept his diagnosis of cancer a secret. If that was the case, okay. Account, I wrote this. So the author wrote this. Let's allow Chadwick Boseman to be a shining example of honoring our boundaries. So we're gonna place it as a boundary. He shared his health issues with the people he chose and continued to live his dream. We can keep things to ourselves, we can be private. Privacy is not secret keeping, it's sharing with trusted loved ones and sharing with others when we are ready to. So we don't have to share certain things if we don't want to, and we can share them only with a select few. Privacy is a healthy boundary. Privacy is a healthy boundary. You do not owe anyone more than you are comfortable sharing. People are not entitled to know your personal business, period. All right, so privacy is a boundary, and you can share as much or as little as you want to. Okay, so just giving that snippet of an example of, having privacy and not wanting to share all these things with the whole world or with a group of people or even your family. I know sometimes it's hard for family to share information with family because I know for some people in my family, we talk amongst each other. Okay. And it's like, well, if I didn't tell so and so, you're not at liberty. So you're overstepping your boundary. But we have to let that boundary be known. We have to let them know, like, hey, please, this is between me and you. I've only shared this with XYZ. Please keep this between me and you. So not allowing other people to overstep boundaries. So there are 6 types of boundaries. There's physical. I'm like learning all these things right now about boundaries. So there's 6 types of boundaries. I'm not going to really go into all of them. I'm just going to share a snippet of the 6 types of boundaries. There's physical. Okay, personal space and physical touch are your physical boundaries. Okay, sexual is never okay to touch anyone's body without consent, and children can never consent to sexual acts. Okay, now that leads me into something real quick. This transgender and how do you identify are being infiltrated into schools, asking children what do they identify as, and that is too early, too soon. Even in high school, for me, even in high school, in my opinion, it is too soon to start asking children in school, what do they identify as? Let's not even expose them to that even being an option. Okay. When I was in high school and middle school, I think totally different than I do now. Now, I can't speak for someone who wants to be the transgender. I can't speak for them because I've never wrestled with if I wanted to be a transgender into a man. So I don't know what those thoughts and feelings feel like. I don't know what those thoughts are like. I don't. So I can't relate to those people. But I do know as a child, as a young adult, I think totally different than I did back then. And for a lot of us, as we mature, we tend to start thinking different. We look at life differently. We make different decisions than we would have back then, right? So I don't think we should expose our children to asking them what do they identify as far as their gender. So intellectual is another boundary. Intellectual boundaries refer to your thoughts and ideas. Emotional, when you share your feelings, it's reasonable to expect others to support you. It's reasonable to expect others to support you, but they don't have to, just like you don't have to support something. Okay. And then the last 2 is material. Material boundaries have to do with your possessions. Okay. And then time boundaries consist of how you manage your time, how you allow others to use your time, how you deal with favor requests, and how you structure your free time. So I know for a lot of us, our time is a big boundary that gets crossed over time and time again. Time and time and time again, our boundaries get crossed when it comes to respecting our time, when it comes to people respecting our time, when we're to be respecting our own time, and when we're to respect time, other people's time. We met up with someone yesterday. They said 30 minutes. I said, okay, well, we're still in the meeting. We're wrapping up. Give us 45 minutes. They said, okay, that's fine. But when we get there, they're not there. We waited a good 45 minutes for them to show up. That was a total disregard for our time and a disregard for their own time because they were getting ready to be late for something else. So they're disregarding their own time and they're disregarding our time. And so as carbon people, we tend to, and I don't want to speak it because then I'm perpetuating it. We have to be mindful about the things that do come out of our mouths. So what I'm saying to you is, without really saying it, as a carbon people, we have to get better with our time. We have this stigma on us as carbon colored, melanated people that we have to get better with. Okay. I'm not going to say what the stigma is, but I know most of y'all know what I'm saying when I'm talking about us and time. So we have to get better with time. And that's why I communicated with this person to let them know that we're not going to be there in 30 minutes. So let's not have them believe we're going to be there in 30 minutes because then they're going to be waiting on us. And that is a disregard for their time. So we want to respect each other's time. We want to respect each other's time. Oh, man. So next, thank you. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the love. I need all the love I can get. Unfortunately, there are some things that I am experiencing right now in my life, and this is a transparent moment. So I am considering removing my daughter from school altogether. I am not a fan of the school system. I am not a fan of the school system. And shout out to Derek Grace, who reminds me every chance he gets. And it's not just me, he reminds a lot of us, but he reminds us how we are perpetuating the system by feeding into it, buying into it, sending our kids to places, which is a school. Now, I know some of y'all feel different about how I see things and how a lot of us parents who homeschool see things. With school, he put it in a perspective of, would you send your child somewhere they can possibly be bullied? Would you send your child somewhere that they can possibly be raped? Would you send your child somewhere that they can start building a relationship, an inappropriate relationship with their teacher? Would you send some child to somewhere that they can possibly be shot up or even experience it in the space that they're in this so-called safe space that we think we're sending our children? And so when he puts it into that perspective, and the food that they are fed in the United States for lunch is a disgrace. It's disgusting. That food, a lot of that food is banned in other states. Okay. A lot of the food that is in our schools, on our shelves in the grocery store, are banned in a lot of countries, in a lot of other countries. I think I said states before, but you know what I'm talking about. Okay. So we have to be more mindful about what it is we're doing with our children, where we're actually sending them. We have to be more mindful. I know some of y'all, some parents on the other hand are like, hey, we can only protect our kids from so much. And how am I going to go to work if my child is not in school and I'm not good at homeschooling? So I don't know. I wouldn't be all these reasons and excuses on why we have to feed into the system. And I just disagree with it. And I know that we can do better and we must do better. We have to do better. It is just something that has to get done. And I know for me, it took me a while to really wrap my mind around how am I going to do this? So now I'm in the process of really putting it together and making it happen. Enough years have gone by with me saying, what am I going to do? What am I going to do? How am I going to do it? Okay. So I know the struggle. I definitely know the struggle if you have children on how challenging it can be on making a decision to homeschool and take them out of the school system. So that is something that I'm going through right now. And I know it will all be, you know, fine and dandy and great. And she will be fine. She's a straight A student with she's a straight A student with honors classes, distinguished honors classes. And she does sports, basketball, volleyball, track. So I'm very, very extremely proud of her, and just didn't know that she was going to be doing all these sports, because when we, sixth, seventh grade, it's like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? She's like, I don't know. And she got in eighth grade and was like, boom, I'm gonna do basketball. I'm gonna do track. I'm gonna do volleyball, and man, she's just up from here. So proud of her. Not sure exactly which one she's going to hone in on. She plays the violin, and just super proud of her. So just showing up as your best self and taking advantage of the things that are out here and available to us is something we should focus on. So I love my social media. I don't want social media be a platform where I'm just scrolling, being entertained, or I'm learning, because I do learn a lot of things from the people that I am connected with on Facebook and Instagram. So Instagram is an educational source for me as well, and for entertainment. My sister, one of my sisters, she likes to send me a list of things in my DM, and she likes sending me what she sends. She sends me just some old crazy some stuff she sent me. I'm like, okay, I don't want to see that. I don't want to see that. Like, no, this stuff is just no, thank you. But anyway, I appreciate y'all for joining me. I am moving on to the next topic at hand. So Derek Grace, I mentioned Derek Grace earlier. Derek Grace is someone I follow on Instagram. Y'all have to follow Derek Grace too. Derek Grace too. He is the man. He's a young man. He has tattoos all over his face. Okay. And some people are like, I can't listen to him. I can't watch him because he got all them tattoos. Okay. Look, you ain't got to look at him. But what the man is saying is pure facts. It's hard truths that we don't want to acknowledge. We don't want to give attention to. We want to keep walking with a blind eye. And we can't keep walking with the blind eye. Y'all, there's too much going on in this world right now that we need to give attention to. We cannot ignore what's happening. We cannot just turn the other cheek and live in our house like ain't nothing going on in the outside world. We're all responsible. We're all responsible. So I just want to share some things that I love that he puts in perspective. So I got one of his series called Gods Amongst Men. Gods Amongst Men. And this is just one of the books. So this is volume 4. Oh, did I bring? Hold on, let me put on my. I have to put on my So I have my contacts on, and so my contacts are for me to see from at a distance, right? So far away is so when it's up close. When I'm looking up close and I have my contacts in, it makes my vision slightly blurry. So putting my readers on helps me see what I need to see up close. Okay, there we go. All right, so value is our obstacle. A purse or Jordan has gold stitching. You see the value and justify the price point, right? You see the value and justify the price point. Someone gives you a game and results that even the people who raised you couldn't, and you debate it proudly. This man gives so much value. And that's basically what I was just mentioning, is someone can't look past his tattoos, but you'll spend all this money on things that really don't have no true value. What gives it value? Because of the material that no, it's not more valuable than the information that we need to move forward, and the knowledge we need to apply. It's not more valuable than that. Okay, it's not more valuable than that. Every war will have casualties. Unfortunately, we haven't grown tired of being one. Every war will have casualties. Okay. Unfortunately, we haven't grown tired of being one. Our leaders, parents, and old heads were more eager to give us money for graduating from broken school systems than an idea we have. I love and appreciate them very much. Don't get us wrong. You know, we love our elders and the ones before us, right? But they were pulled into a system that wasn't for us. And so all they knew was to keep us going in that same direction. But don't wish to be anything like them. Don't wish to be anything like them. Where has that cycle got us so far? Where has that cycle gotten us so far? Time to unlearn and relearn. So that's his tagline. Unlearn and relearn. So that's something we have to get involved with, is really taking what we've been taught, removing the conditions that we are been conditioned to, and start learning a different way, doing the opposite. Dear reader, nobody cares about your ignorance or lack of education when it comes to gun knowledge and use. They actually value it because it helps get rid of you. Keep bringing reactive and waiting. Life has something for you. America is built on violence and entrepreneurship. America is built on violence and entrepreneurship. So if you are not in tune with those things, you are out of touch. You are out of touch with what the world is doing. Saddest part of seeing the future is having to stand by and watch so many disappear due to a lack of knowledge and obliviousness to the ills of the world. So many of us are oblivious to what is happening in the world, right in our backyard, right inside of our homes, inside of our communities. You can bypass the game now, but our seeds will deal with it. So I want to talk about something else before I close out too. And I mentioned communities. So when something happens amongst us inside of our community, who should handle it? Right? The people of the community should handle what's happening in the community. So, for example, if there are two women who are just not getting along, something has happened, they fell out, and so now one is just perturbed and pissed off about whatever the other woman has done. Okay. Should they separate and move on depending on what the situation was? Should they separate, move on, and go on about their life? Or should they try to resolve the situation at hand, because the pissed off woman is still looking for a certain result? Okay. So if the pissed off woman is looking for a certain result, should they try to resolve it? Should they try to come to a consensus? Right? Or should they just remain pissed off and be pissed off and not get the results they're looking for? In my opinion, if we are looking to build our communities up in the best positive light we can, then it starts with us. So if something happens with you and someone else in your community, let's see how we can resolve it. And if it can't get resolved for whatever the reason may be, if it can't get resolved, then move on. Move on. Because all you're going to do is fester negativity and make matters worse. So do we want to make matters better, or do we want to make matters worse? Do we want to make matters better, or do we want to make matters worse? So I hope that we want to make matters better. And then you take the time to reflect and look inside of the situation to say, you know what? I am going to do what's best for the community. And if I'm still looking for a certain result, and I'm still looking for a positive outcome for myself and my community, then I need to handle it in a positive light, not negatively, because that's more than likely what going to get a negative result. So just wanted to say that and close this thing on out. I appreciate y'all for jumping on. Please follow, subscribe, like, and share my YouTube channel, Miss Moon Motivates. Miss Moon Motivates. Thank y'all for joining me here on IG, Facebook, and my YouTube live. Man, oh man, oh man. It is a lot of things happening, some things coming up this weekend, June 23rd through the 25th. The Wealth Connect with Annetta Powell. Stormy Wellington's going to be speaking there. 19 Keys. He just got off his tour with High Level Conversations. He's going to be in the building. You have, oh man, Keenan, man, you got some heavy hitters. You got, oh, what's his name? Eugene Fan with the Airbnb game. Who else? Man. Oh, Dontel. Is it Dontel Antonio? Hold on. Let me make sure. No, that's not it. Let me make sure. Dang, where's it at? Oh, there you go. The Content King. The king of content will be in the building. Yep, Dontel Antonio. So that will be in Miami, Florida this weekend. Miami, Florida. I actually won two tickets. So I'm excited about that. And I think that's it. So my birthday is June 25th. Whoop, whoop. Shout out to me. Happy birthday. Happy Earth Day, June 25th. Cancer season in the building. All right, y'all. Love y'all to life. It's never too late to be great. And I highly, highly, highly suggest you start today. And for my ladies, educate, motivate, slay. And remember, it's all about me. Motivate, educate, elevate. Don't forget the Farm Life brand. Farm Life, baby. Farm Life in the building. Check out my link tree. My link tree is /Miss Moon. Link tree is /Miss Moon, MOONE. So check me out on there and see what we got going on. We need to get some products out there to you. Our pain cream at the farm, the CBD pain cream is amazing. It works. Johnny on the spot, man. And whoo, I'm telling you, that pain spray, the gummies, what else? Barbecue sauce, wine, hot sauce. What else we got? And soaps, lip balm. And my CBD or THC tea. Clones. We got clones for sale. Clones for sale here at Carbon Farms. Clones for sale. What else? Seeds for anybody who wants to grow their own, and if it's legal wherever you are, or if you listen, we're inviting you out to the farm. There are some people that we will allow to come and visit the farm. So come on out here. You might come out here and stay and want to assist and help, and we could use the help. We can't allow any and everybody to come out to the farm, but we will do our process and see if you would be one of our people that we allow to come out to the farm. And there's a few other items I know that I'm forgetting, and I don't know why they just turned the light off, but I'm closing out. Okay, there we go. All right, y'all. That's going to do it for me. Peace. Oh, boy. I heard some banging. I was like, is that somebody at the front door?
No, everybody's sleeping. When you should have their ass up.
How?
Get up.
I'm busy. How I'm supposed to be?
The farm has to be operational for you to do whatever it is that you're doing.